Aditya, you broke the story on the murder of an Indian diplomat. What's the latest on this?
Well, the latest is that this is a 40-year-old murder that we are talking about. Many ask that why bother about a killing that happened in 1984? Well, we have to bother because justice was not done. The main perpetrator, the main person who was responsible for pulling the trigger on Ravindra Matre, Indian diplomat, the very first Indian diplomat who was killed on an outstation assignment in Birmingham, UK, is on the run. And we, over the last many months, have investigated this threadbare. This started a few months back where we found a tip-off about the main killer who's been on the run for the last 40 years, and his behavior clearly indicates that something is suspicious. I spoke to over the last 4 months with a lot of his friends, a lot of people who have interacted with him over the last 2 decades, and they say he's not on social media. He doesn't like to be photographed.
But he's alive and well, and
he's
and
alive
in Pakistan.
and well, and he tells his friends to not circulate his photographs, not give his contact details out, and he fears for his life. He thinks that either he'll be killed or he'll be arrested or extradited. So clearly, it seems that there is something that is wrong. He's hiding away, and immediately after the murder in 1984, he initially flew to Netherlands and then fled away to Pakistan and now stays in Kotli of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. But the main angle here is that over the last 40 years, neither the UK nor India bothered to bring to justice the perpetrators. And that brings me to the question that if we do not want to send out a message, what kind of a message are you bringing to the people? Today, the Indian diplomats that are being threatened, it's only happening because at that time we gave a long rope and we looked the other way.
Absolutely. In fact, I remember what Vikram Sood, the former RAW chief, had mentioned in one of your documentaries, where he said that nations that want to be taken seriously must have long memories.
Absolutely.
I think he was talking in terms of cases like this, which we suddenly decided to give up on and not investigate. But let's listen into what the High Commissioner to London, Vikram Doraiswami, had to say about our story.
As far as the record tells us, he was leaving work on that fateful day. He had stopped off to buy a cake for his daughter. It was her birthday. And as he walked out to take the bus that he always took at 5:30 p.m. To get home, he was grabbed and bundled into a car by 4 assailants, who then took him away and held him at detention. And within 3 days, they shot him dead. They shot him at close range with 2 bullets. He was a father, a diplomat, a mild-mannered, inoffensive man doing his work, and he was brutally killed here in the UK. Unfortunately, as far as we're aware, the main perpetrator, the person who was believed to be responsible for shooting Mr. Matre, according to the few who were arrested, remains at large. A couple of others were arrested many years later and were eventually released, sadly, because they were able to make a suitable case, at least that the court found convincing here. Some were convicted, but the longest sentence that anybody paid for the abduction of a diplomat covered under the relevant Vienna Conventions, and for the detention of another person covered under criminal law everywhere in the world, including the UK, and of course for murder, was 20 years. In fact, if you look at the records of the time, from what we are able to trace, the British government was also aware of the fact that at least 4 of them had fled to Pakistan within 2 or 3 days, and they were either in Pakistan or in territory illegally controlled by Pakistan. So yes, it is true that the British knew about it, and they shared it with us, in fact, at that point of time. I think I would like everyone associated with the world of diplomacy, and frankly it's not a large world. Every country in the world has a foreign ministry and a certain number of foreign diplomats. This is a story that we should all feel touched by, because what happened to him could have happened to anybody else, but it didn't. It happened to him, it happened to an Indian diplomat, and it happened in this country. So I do want people to remember, when they think that this is just one incident. It wasn't. It was an incident that has a grave implication for the way in which diplomats are treated and looked after worldwide.
News9 Plus. Download now.